do these calls on Sunday night at 9 p.m. However, I wanted to do it Monday because yesterday was Mother's Day, and I know a lot of us in here are moms, and I know some of us were celebrating with our moms, so I wanted to make sure that you guys knew, like, it was totally like that was your day to do whatever it is that you needed to do. So first, I just wanted to say welcome. This is so exciting, and it's so cool to have you part of this group and to sort of teach you a little bit about what I know about coaching, about what I've learned about coaching over what will soon be 3 years this month about coaching. So really, you are part of an amazing organization. You're part of an amazing team. We have inspired over the last 3 years hundreds of people to not just lose weight and find a passion for working out, but we do so much more as a team. And we've always thought of the concept of sweating for something bigger. You know, we have this ability to move and to fuel our bodies with amazing foods, and to give someone that opportunity to be able to do the same thing when so many people cannot. It's always been somewhat therapeutic. So just to backtrack for like 1 minute, the Knockout Brigade, we sort of started about last year. I had been diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a type of blood cancer. And throughout that battle, I battled it for almost 9 months. But throughout that battle, the team, the Knockout Brigade, often would, you know, they would sweat for me when I could not. So it's always been this idea of just our team is so much more than just, you know, people trying to sell challenge packs. With that sort of being said too, I want to tell you that this is not a quick fix. You know, I don't believe that Shakeology is going to solve your answers to everything in regard to health and fitness. I do not believe that selling a challenge pack and wishing someone like good luck on a program is going to result to anything. This is going to be a journey of heart. This is going to be about truly helping people leave healthy and fulfilling lives. So our job as coaches is not necessarily to, you know, give everybody all the answers in terms of nutrition, but it's to help them and to motivate them and to inspire them. And when they're having a bad day, it's to pick them up and lift them up and to be their biggest cheerleader. And that is why a company like Beachbody works so well, and even more so why I believe the Knockout Brigade to be the absolute best team in the organization. So Taylor is also one of my coaches. I met her last year at a fundraiser, but she is also going to be running this group with me. And I know she's muted. I know she's driving and it's pouring rain, so I don't want her to unmute while we're doing this. So, all right. So welcome to the Coach Basics, right? So this 30 days is really going to teach you some of the basics in order to really start growing your business. So a couple of the things that we're really going to focus on is expanding our market. It's going to be about how we post to inspire people, how we talk to people, and how we invite on a more personal level. So my job as your upline coach is to make sure that I am giving you those tools to help you get started on your path. I work Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays throughout the day, so I'm really easy to reach. If you tried reaching me today, my house was in chaos. My boys were nuts today, so if I have not gotten back to you yet, my inbox is calling my name after this call, so I promise I will get back to you. But the best way, if you have questions, is to ask them within the Coach Basics group, because myself or Taylor or another coach who's in there, Liz Holly, will be able to answer most of those questions. And the other thing is too, you know, you guys are, you know, just starting on this journey together. So you guys can really brainstorm together. You can motivate one another. You can shoot ideas off of one another. And that's the purpose of the group. So it's not just about you on your own journey as a coach. It's about seeing what the team environment is like. So my personal experience has always been the more that you give, the more that you give to others, the more that you sort of receive. So it's like that with coaching. It's like that with your learning within the Coach Basics group. And it's just more fun that way to take the experience with other people too. So I am going to go into a little bit of training after the call, but I want you guys to kind of get to know each other a little bit. So I am going to have Sarah, since I see you up top, if you want to unmute for me, can you just give us a little bit about you and tell us a little bit about your story and a little bit about what excites you about being a coach?
My name's Sarah, and I was introduced to Katie through my husband because she was part of Man and Woman of the Year, and my daughter was the Girl of the Year. So I started with that, and I needed to change just through going through with my daughter with cancer. And so I did that, and then I know what it's like to be a mom of a kid that had cancer and the struggles that people have, and it's really, really hard. And I know that I use eating as a way to get over it, and I know other people out there did too, and I know that there's a lot of emotional attachment to certain things, and I want to encourage people to know that there's something else out there that will help them, because I feel 100 times better. And if it was something that I had at the time that my daughter was sick, I probably would have been a much better. I would have felt better about myself helping her.
But now you get to pay it forward and help.
That's true.
That's the beauty of it. So on a side note, Sarah and I kind of talked, and we're going to be talking later this week, but one thing Sarah brought up to me, which I thought was this amazing idea, is actually running a fit club. And I don't remember the location, but one thing that she went through when her daughter was going through treatment was and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was a support group. So the kiddos would get together and they would do like a craft, and the moms would get together, the dads would get together, and they would have like this mini support group, but they would eat during the support group. And she was like, well, Katie, and I just thought this was amazing. And I remember I got chills because I loved it. Like, what if I did a fit club, like where we worked out and, worked out our frustrations instead of eating the emotions. And it was just like this like great click. So Sarah and I are going to be talking about that and working on making that happen. So Welcome, Sarah. I'm so excited to have you. Kristen, what's going on?
Hi guys. The reason why I started Beachbody was because, first of all, Taylor, she totally like motivated me and got me interested in it. And I guess I've always been very physically active, but I've never felt good about being physically active. I never felt like I was doing it specifically for myself. And I've never been one to be eating a healthy lifestyle. So I really kind of took it in as a way to improve on myself and hopefully help others improve on themselves.
That's awesome. And you dance with Taylor, right? Or you teach together?
Teach together.
Awesome. Very cool. And you did not get stuck in the rain tonight?
No, I got home before it.
Okay, cool. Hey, Jen, what's going on?
Hey guys, I'm Jen. I went to high school with Taylor, and I actually was following her post for quite a few months just because she was so motivational, inspirational, and I kind of wanted to be like that in a way. I wanted to be around more positive people and not around like all the negative. I didn't need the negative in my life, and I've noticed in the past couple of months that I have seen a change, and I want to be able to help other people become more positive.
I love that. I love thinking of it too in terms of it because they all mold and mesh together, like the idea of health and fitness and gratitude. Like they all connect together. Like when you feel good physically and you feel good about yourself, you feel good about spreading good to others.
Right.
So it's awesome to meet you, Jen.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi, Ange. That's a beautiful like wall picture in the background on another note. I really like that. Can you click unmute? There you go.
Yes. Okay. I've probably been doing Beachbody for almost 2 years. My husband, we've been moving around a ton. We've had 4 houses in the last 5 years. And I guess like I've always been close with my friends, and moving away and like having my kids by myself, I really have nobody but my husband. And a girl that I went to high school with started with Beachbody and had amazing results. And I've tried every diet there is out there. Back up, Nate. And I tried with the shakes, and I like got addicted to them. It was like a diet, not a diet. It was a lifestyle change that actually made me feel good, not like crazy, cranky, hangry all the time. Sit down, please. That's why I have it muted. But anyway, I don't know. And then I started like following you guys. She got me involved in the club when I got my coaching discount. And I don't know, like you guys really inspired me, and I was a nurse. So like, you know, I love teaching and making people feel better. So I don't know. It just seemed like something that I would like to try and help others like she did for me.
That's fantastic. That is really cool. And I love the idea too that you have so much in a nursing background as well. And we do have quite a few nurses on the team and teachers on the team too. So it's very true. Like it's in our nature. So awesome. All right, Amanda. Hi. And I know you messaged me, and I'm so sorry. I'm the worst coach in the world, but I'm getting to it. Wait, I think I did, but I have to find a YouTube video. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, I have T25. I got it when it first came out, and got a bag of Shakeology and did the on again, off again, on again, off again thing. And then recently, about almost 8 weeks ago, because I'm almost done with the program, I got PiYo, and I did 4 weeks on my own. I felt stronger and stuff like that, but it wasn't everything. There was something missing. So I had been following One Fit Fighter for a while, and it was truly inspirational, and there was so much motivation. And so I asked Katie to be my coach and join my first challenge group just 3 weeks ago. And I've had amazing results just in 3 weeks. I'm actually down 10 pounds since Easter, and that's like amazing for me. So just seeing those changes in that short amount of time, I'm like, why didn't I do this a long time ago? And the Shakeology and the challenge group made all the difference.
Yeah.
And since I felt great, I had felt lousy for so long, and I felt so much better just in that short amount of time. I want everybody to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I just thought, I'm going for it, and I'm going to try and pay it forward. So that's why.
You had done it sort of alone for a while?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I did T25. I got through like 5 weeks of it, and then I gave it up, and I was doing the PiYo, like I said, by myself, and it wasn't enough. I needed something more, and found that with the challenge group. So
yeah. And I agree too. Like, I think sometimes people have like soulmate workouts too. So PiYo is like my baby. I love PiYo. I did it.
I love it. It's amazing.
Very cool. Yeah. And then you should look at doing, if you have the regular one, you should look at doing the deluxe one, because they add like different workouts to it. Like just
okay.
Like once you've completed it, you should look into it if you want.
I only have like 6 more days, so
yeah, look into it for sure.
Okay.
And then there's a 412 number, and I want to say it's Terry, but I'm not sure. Can you hear us? Whoever's on the phone, I can't see your face. Terry, is that you? All right, I'm not sure if that's her. So I will get started with what we're going to go over tonight. And then I just want to tell you too, on the Zoom, there's a little button that chats. So if while I'm talking, you have questions or you want to interrupt or whatever, you can feel free to just write in the chat. All right, so one of the first things that I just want to kind of talk to you guys about tonight is how you can talk about Beachbody on your wall. So when you become a coach, one of the first things that you want to do is you want to let people know what you are doing and why you are doing it. So one of the first things that you walk through when you did that 7-day quick start is finding your why, like finding a purpose for why you are doing this. So part of these introductions tonight was for me to really grasp like why you're here. You know, it's not just about getting a discount on Shakeology. It's really a bigger purpose. There's really a bigger reason for it. So with thinking about these stories, and every single one of you were different, you know, nobody had the same story, but you want to start thinking about how can this story connect to what other people might need to hear. And that's really how you motivate people. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. You know, how I started when I coached was I started on my Facebook personal page. So everything that I posted at first was seen only through my Facebook personal page. And so I would message my friends. I would, you know, start talking to them, people that I hadn't talked to since high school. I would start connecting with them again. And then what I did once I was sort of comfortable with Facebook and starting Facebook on my personal page, I started to blog. So blogging for me was another way for people to connect me. And I like writing. I enjoy using words. I enjoy like finding ways to talk to people. So I started blogging. And then, you know, once I felt like I had a good handle of my blog and was able to reach people that way, then I started a Facebook like page. I didn't start that until like last year, like mid last year, maybe it's a year old, I'm not even sure. And then Instagram, I just started a couple months ago. So what I'm saying is you don't have to come into this and say, I need to master all elements of social media. This business is entirely 110% what you want it to be. So if you are comfortable with social media and you love Instagram, go do Instagram. If you really want to look into the like page and learn more about how to sponsor ads, how to run ads, how to build a following, look at the like page. If you love writing, maybe look into doing a blog. But the one common element should always be your Facebook personal page. It used to be that I would tell my coaches that you need to post 3 to 5 times a day. I find now if I post 2, maybe 3 times a day, it's plenty because I make sure that my posts are meaningful. And every time I post something, I say, can this help somebody? Can this motivate someone? Can it inspire someone? I don't usually throw a post up there just to throw a post up there to say, boom, I hit my 2 to 3 or my 3 to 5 a day. My posts are truly to either make someone smile or add value to their life. I have consistently posted every day since I started coaching. And it is always from the time, the mindset of, is this going to help somebody else? It's not about having all the answers. It's not about perfection or the perfect image. It's really just about thinking like your audience. You know, if you were somebody on Facebook and you didn't know anything about Beachbody coaching, you didn't know anything about, you know, what Shakeology was, and somebody went to your wall, would they be inspired by the person that you are? Would they just want to get to know you? Would they want to learn more from you? So I want you to kind of start there and think about what your wall is like. And when I say wall, I mean, in most cases, your personal page, unless you do have a like page. Would people go there and say, I want to continue to follow her. I want to continue to be inspired by her. It's not about the sales as much as it's really about getting people inspired by you. There are a lot of, you know, other Beachbody coaches out there. There's 300,000 in the organization. What is going to make you different is that you truly care. And the way that you show you care is by engaging your posts and getting them to inspire people. Taylor, stop texting and driving. To wake up and jot down. Yeah, you can actually use, I know, do you like how I yelled at her? You can actually use I often use like the notes on my iPhone, and my notes section is completely full of random like thoughts like everywhere. And some of them are so jumbled, I don't even remember what they are. You might have Pinterest. If you have Pinterest, start creating boards on Pinterest that are about fitness or related to fitness, and just pin things that you can come back to later. So if you're looking for a Monday motivational picture, you can share that. When you were filling out your 7-day quick start, they also had like different social media elements of Team Beachbody. So one was like Team Beachbody 411 on Facebook. There was Carl Deichler on Instagram. I'm trying to think of what else I follow. Like you can follow Autumn Calabrese, whoever you're kind of motivated by. So thinking of just like Amanda, she loves PiYo. She might really start to love Shailene Johnson and, getting people interested in Shailene. So it's about adding value with that part of it. Taylor, I was going to ask you something. I was going to ask you to unmute. Oh, Taylor, do you want to talk a little bit about the compound effect? If you just want to unmute for a second.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So The Compound Effect is the book that we're going to be reading throughout this group, and it's a really great book. If you guys haven't gotten it yet, make sure that you get your hands on it. It's only 6 chapters, so since we have about 3 weeks left, I figured we would do 2 chapters a week, and basically it just goes over the compound effect. So once you read it, you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. And at the end of the week, I will post, at the end of every week, I'll post questions for you to kind of reflect upon and answer from the chapters that you read that week. So this week should be chapters 1 and 2. And I do have it on my iPad, so you can download it to like your iPad or your Kindle or anything like that. It's available that way as well. But basically, the compound effect is something that as you grow your business and as you start doing these the 3 vital behaviors, you will notice this happening in your everyday life. So just for an example, this is kind of on a larger scale, but last year I met Katie at a fundraiser, and from there we became I've been doing this for about a year now, but on top of that, we have raised a ton of money for cancer research. So just how everyone that you inspire and everyone that you affect is going to compound effect. They're going to inspire more people. Those people are going to inspire even more people, and it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So one small action from you can turn into something huge down the road. That's all.
Right. So the other thing that I just want to mention too along those lines is we're going to talk about these 3 vital behaviors we're going to do as coaches. One is inviting. Inviting basically just means that you are letting people know of this opportunity to join you in a challenge group, to join you on your health and fitness journey, to try out Shakeology, to get in the best shape of their life. The other is that we're a product of the product. We're using the workouts. There are a lot of successful coaches who don't necessarily use the workouts, but they do use Shakeology, and they talk about how Shakeology enhances their workouts, how it makes them feel better. They have their own sort of testimonials. Whether it's a weight loss or not doesn't matter. And then the third is often the one that, and this goes back to what Taylor was talking about, is the one that's often forgotten, and that is personal development. Personal development to me, when I started coaching, I was like, I don't need to do that. Give me a novel. At the time I was reading The Hunger Games. I don't want to read, personal development when I want to read other novels or when I want to watch TV. But the thing I have found with personal development is that it can truly change your entire life if you let it. If you give yourself 10 minutes a day to just better yourself through personal development, it will completely change everything. Oh, sorry, Amanda. That's okay. So one thing I suggest is starting with the compound effect. So again, if you don't have a copy, make sure you get it. If you don't want to buy it, which you probably will after you read it, and you'll see why. Mine's highlighted. There's all kinds of stuff everywhere. I use it all the time with my posts. When people say to me, like, your posts are so inspirational. Well, a lot of that inspiration actually comes from things that I read and I internalize. So I keep myself motivated because I'm reading these kind of books, and then I give that motivation to other people. Then the other thing you can do is listen to various podcasts. So one thing that I suggest is, if you have an iPhone, that you download the app Podcast, and then you go on to different stations. And the stations that I suggest are Team Beachbody, which will have all of the national wake-up calls that take place every Monday. They will have all of those national wake-up calls you can just listen to. So if you have a commute to work, this is a great opportunity for you to listen to personal development for 15 minutes on the car ride there, 15 minutes on the car ride home. The other one I suggest is Lewis Howe, Howe, School of Greatness. Phenomenal podcast. He is, I think he was an athlete, and I'm going to get this wrong, but he hosts various successful entrepreneurs on his page and is amazing at telling stories about how people have become successful and letting those people tell their stories on his podcast. And the other one I really like is the Shailene Show, and that's Shailene Johnson, who is, of course, PiYo, Shailene Extreme, but it's Chalene, and then it's her show. So those are 3 podcasts that are phenomenal. And honestly, even if I'm running the vacuum, or if I have like some laundry to fold, instead of turning on TV, I put on my podcast, and that has changed everything. That has basically changed how I run my business. It changes the way I think. It changes the way that I want to view my workouts. It has such a positive impact. The compound effect is definitely coming into play whenever you talk about, the bigger picture of things. So those are essentially the 3 things that we do as a coach. All right, so going back to the invite. So tracking back to those 3 vitals. Hey, Taylor, if you're typing, if you want to just click mute, can you click?
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. There is in your business, your back office. It's called the Coach Online Office. I call it the back office. Under news and training, did anybody see the business activity tracker that I was talking about? Okay. So the business activity tracker is under, if you click on Get Started here under news and training, let me see if I can bring it up actually. I might be able to do this. No, I got booted. I'll do a screenshot of it tomorrow. Under news and training, there is a business activity tracker. And this I was talking about in the Knockout Brigade. And if you're my personally sponsored, I was talking about it in there too. This allows for you to go through your day, especially if you are working full-time or you have a lot on your plate. The business activity tracker is going to allow you to do the essentials for this business in a very small, limited amount of time. So if you are working full-time, you get home, you make dinner, you put the kiddos to bed, and boom, it's 9 o'clock and you're like, I have 1 hour that I need to work my business. You can do that, but the business activity tracker is what's going to help you kind of stay on track. So it walks you through all of the daily activities that you need to do. So those 3 vitals that we talked about, making sure that you're following up, making sure that you're inviting. And what ends up happening is you look at the business activity tracker by the end of the week and you say, there's little pockets or little holes here. I just went through the whole week and I didn't invite anyone. Or I just went through the whole week and, oh my gosh, I forgot to follow up with all those people I talked to the week before. And you'll be amazed how many people are going to slip through the cracks when you just aren't really keeping track of your business. The business activity tracker is so easy to do, but it's really easy not to do too. So that is a really great place to start. I highly suggest you turning it into me or Taylor so that we can check it out and we can give you feedback about it. It's not like this is a test, are you doing it right? It is very much just like let me give you some feedback about some areas that, I know that I needed to work on that impacted my business. It might apply to you too. That is the tracker. So we want to make sure we get those out, that we get those started. It does make a difference. So business activity tracker, I wanted to talk about tonight. Talked about personal development. We talked a little bit about posting on our walls and doing our invites. So now I want to kind of open it up to you and get you guys some of your questions answered or however you want to talk. So please don't be shy. Go ahead and talk. We have 2 Taylors on the phone now. Taylor 1 and Taylor 2. Taylor, why are there 2 Taylors?
Because I'm on my...
Mute yourself, girl.
Is one gone?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I switched from my phone to my computer.
Okay.
Because I got home. Sorry. I didn't realize it was going to do that.
Did we hit everything up, Taylor? We talked about personal development. We talked about business activity tracker. We talked about posting. We met everyone, and everyone's so adorable, and I love this team. What else am I missing?
Nothing.
We get it all? All right, what questions do you guys have? Feel free to ask us questions because that's what we're here for. So what are your concerns? What are some things that you are worried about? What are some things that kind of keep you up at night when you think about this business? What do you have on your mind?
So I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. One of my fears is inviting people that I haven't, either they're strangers or people that I'm just trying to reconnect with. Have you ever experienced anybody like taking it the wrong way? Like, what are you trying to do? Tell me that I'm unhealthy or tell me that I'm overweight or something like that? Like, how do you handle that if they give you that kind of response?
Yeah. Okay. So when I started coaching, I made lots of mistakes. So I want to first to say that it is so normal to have that fear. But I also want to tell you that fear is the one thing that's going to prevent you from being successful. So we definitely need to conquer this fear, and we're going to do it right now. So there is an invite script. I think I posted in the group. If you go into the files section, I believe it's there. And your job is going to be to form people. And what that means is you are having a general conversation with them and leaving them with a message. So FORM is an acronym that stands for family, occupation, recreation, and message. And we'll talk more about this throughout the month, but that basically means when you are having that conversation, Amanda, with someone that you just met, or you're having that conversation with someone you went to high school with, haven't talked to in 10 years, you start off very basic. You go onto their wall and you start just learning a little bit more about them. What have they been doing? Do they have kids? You know, like, are they married? And you go onto their wall and you just start taking a genuine interest in them. You really start to focus on what's going on in their life, and you start the conversation, and it just flows from your family, you know, your kids, you're married, and then it goes into what are you doing for a living? Like, what do you do now? Oh, cool. Well, what do you do for fun? And it's this two-way conversation that you start having with someone. And the last message always goes into, what are you up to now? And I would always say something like, and at the time I was teaching, I would say, like, I'm teaching 7th grade. I love it. I'm in an amazing district. But it's really weird. I actually started doing this online accountability thing through social media. Can I tell you more about it? Do you see how natural that was? It wasn't like a, hey, I run online accountability groups. Do you want to buy the 21-day fix? Do you see the difference between the two?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's really taking a genuine interest. And the thing is, you start to genuinely be interested and you start to really like care and be like, I really want to get to know them more. And they seem like they'd be a really cool challenger and I'd love to have them. And you don't take it personal. Like when somebody says, no, they're not interested, it just means not enough. The other thing is too with strangers, right? This was such a fear for me. Like, I don't know if I've met them, but I believe in the power of social media. So if I friend request someone I've never met before or I've never talked to before, I say something like this. I say something like, hey, you know, Facebook does this crazy thing where they tell you that you should be friends with someone and they said your name. And I think it's because we have X as a mutual friend. You know, I'm not a weirdo or anything. I just really like networking with other people. And, you know, I hope that's cool, LOL. And it's very natural. It's a confidence thing, though. Once you do it, hey, Dave, I hear you whistling a tune back there.
You can hear him.
I can totally hear him whistling.
He's like in the other room.
Totally hear his loud mouth. Tell him to knock it off.
They can hear you whistling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hi, Dave.
They say hi. I have headphones on, so he can't hear you.
But yeah, it's just a very natural way. And you know what? If somebody doesn't want to be your friend, that's their loss, you know? And you don't know them, so it's not that big of a deal. So it's one of those things. And another coach on our team gave me this great tip. And she says what she would do is before she gets into inviting and before she really gets into like starting conversations with people that she's nervous about, she looks in the mirror and she just like does this little dance and she's like, I've got this. I'm the top coach. I can totally do this. Who wouldn't want to be in my challenge group? And she actually like says that to herself until it's like just becomes the truth. So till you start to believe that about yourself. And it becomes the truth. So that's just, it's going to feel weird the first couple times. It does. It feels so weird. But once you start to do it more and more often, and you're going to be inviting 2 new people every day consistently, when you do that, it gets easier every time. For sure. Did I answer all the questions? What other questions do you guys have? Want the challenge group? Yes. So yeah, along what Taylor said too, I'll actually ask them like, how much do you think it actually costs? And then you'll be surprised. A lot of people will have an idea or a number in their head, and then you break it down for them and say, this is what it costs. It costs me $4 a day. I knew that to go to a gym and get personal training, I would be spending this amount. It also is the 30 minutes a day in my basement. And I'm going to be honest, like it works. There is no maybe. There is no what if. There is 100% guarantee, bottom of the bag. If you do the work, this will work. Bottom line. Yep. That's really what I say. And, you know, it's so hard too, because when you start as a coach, you're kind of like on your own fitness journey. You know, you're on your own path. And it's kind of like, okay, now I have to feel like I'm very confident in it. But the truth is, you know, the products work. The truth is, you know, when you eat well, it works. The truth is, you know, when you're on Shakeology and you're drinking it daily, you feel good. So with all of that being said, just think of it as an opportunity to give that to somebody else. What else did I miss? What? Taylor, did you want to mention that? I think I missed part of the conversation.
So yeah, she just said one of the girls are in high school, and I said, well, why does she want to do this? And she said for exercise. So I was just going to kind of stem off of that. If you know their why, if you know why they want to do this and why this is important to them, they will see the worth in $4 a day for Shakeology, and they will understand that the investment is going to help them reach their goals, whatever they may be. So, for example, when I first started doing this, I sat down with my husband and he was like, so as far as budget goes, this is fine, but something's got to give here. So what's not in line with your goals that you're doing daily that you can cut back on to make this work for you? So I gave up Starbucks because I was spending $5, $6, $7 a day at Starbucks. I got rid of that because that was not in line with my goals as far as fitness and health and all of that. Replaced that with Shakeology, and I actually saved us money in the long run. So instead of, spending my $7 on Starbucks a day to get that energy boost, I was spending $4 a day on Shakeology. So I was actually saving us money. So when people give me the money concern or I can't afford it right now, I very naturally will say, I totally understand what you're saying. This is what I had to do to be able to afford this. Is there anything that you do daily that maybe isn't in line with your goals as far as your health and fitness goes? And let's see if we can cut back there. If we can actually you're making more money, you're saving more money I was saving more money by switching to this. And 9 times out of 10, people have some vice that they do daily that when they actually have to stop and think about it, they're like, oh yeah, you know what? I actually could not do that anymore. And this would be completely manageable budget-wise.
Taylor, have you ever done like a post just like how you just said that about sitting down with Dave and talking about that?
If I did, it's been a while. I should do that again, huh?
That was just a really good talking about the goals in line.
I've had people I've talked to people before that are smokers. And I'm like, well, that is definitely not in line with what you're trying to do here. And they're like, okay. So they've cut back on that. And it's kind of been a slow, it's hard for them, but they see that this is going to help them not only just now, but like years from now. Right. This change with this is when that money starts compounding. You know what? Actually, also, this is kind of off topic. One of my coaches, Katie Isaac, she did a video that explains when people give you the cost objection and you start to talk to them, which we'll get into later, I'm sure, about signing up as a coach just purely for the discount. When they hit 7 months as a discount coach, they get a bag of Shakeology technically for free and the money that they've saved with the discount.
That's interesting. Looking at it too. Mm-hmm. Never thought of it that way.
But there's always ways to talk to them about it, and hopefully by that point you have a stable enough relationship with them that you can have these conversations and they're not awkward anymore, because by the time you get to cost, you should know why these people need to do this and why this is important to them and why they want to do this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be deeper than I want to lose weight.
So yeah, when people ask you up front, what's the cost? I never answer it on my Facebook page. So if someone says, how much is it? I say, I'll send you a private message. And that's when I start talking to them. I'll be like, thank you so much for your interest in what I do as a coach. Tell me a little bit more about your goals. Tell me about some things that have worked for you in the past. Tell me about some things that you've struggled with. And focus so much on being interested in them. So really what I do is I focus on my wall and my Facebook like page on being interesting. I'm interesting on those places. But when it comes to conversations with people, I am 100% interested in them. Make sense? You're interesting on your wall. You're interested in conversation. Yep. Cool. Mm-hmm. What else you guys got? All right. So in going forward this week, you'll have the daily post with your assignments, but the compound effect is the one thing that I want you guys to all make sure that you get your hands on. Taylor really leads the way with the personal development part of things, and I do more of the technical stuff, but we are both here to support you and motivate you and help you on this journey. I know that I'm sure that you've seen from our posts that this has changed our lives, and we've given it time to let it grow. But the goal is to just help people and inspire people as much as possible, and it will pay you back when you focus on that. for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Anything else I missed?
Angie. So I would just figure out what she loves about it and then do some research yourself. I don't know that much about Isagenix. Hold on one second. Dave, do you know anything about Isagenix?
What's that?
Do you know anything about Isagenix?
Not really. Why?
He doesn't know anything either. Just see what she likes about it, what it does for her, and then you can kind of relate and be like, oh my gosh, well, Shakeology actually is, I don't know, you have to word it. You don't ever want to knock what they're doing because they've made a decision to do something that they feel is healthy and a good decision for themselves. So make sure that you're like applauding them for all of that before you just say, well, Shakeology, don't just say like Shakeology is better. So just kind of inform yourself a little bit more on why they've chosen that, and then you'll figure it out. And it's not, I don't know, Katie, I think you and I probably are a little bit the same in the fact that like I very rarely talk to someone and then the same day they buy a challenge pack. It takes me like a week to, some time to talk to them and learn about them and what
Their goals.
makes them. Yeah.
The other thing is too, when someone talks about Isagenix or they talk about, what they're using or what they're doing to fuel their body, you applaud them and everything, but I do then, even though I'm not tagging someone in that post, I think about that person and the things that they tell me about that product, knowing full well that Shakeology, there's nothing that compares to Shakeology. There's nothing on the market at all. So I know that, but a lot of people don't realize that. They see powder. That's what they see. So I make sure that my posts are helping people understand the value of Shakeology. So, I also have a blog post. I did a blog post about how expensive Shakeology is and how can anyone afford Shakeology, and broke down how I was able to afford Shakeology monthly. But yeah, it's, on my wall, if somebody's giving me, they are kind of refuting Shakeology, they're refuting the cost, I just basically talk about it confidently on my wall.
And also along with that, like just going back to other products, so my husband drinks base protein and a bunch of different supplements and Shakeology because they all do different things. So Isagenix might be something, if she really loves it, that she can do in conjunction with Shakeology. So don't, just because they say they're using something else, don't necessarily think like they don't want to hear about Shakeology, because maybe she's taking 4 multivitamins a day that she wouldn't have to take anymore if she was drinking Shakeology and, combining the two or something. So definitely just get to know why she uses that and what she feels it does for her before you talk about other stuff.
Absolutely.
Kristen, you're getting 1-word answers from people. What are you talking to them about?
Sorry. Just like whenever I'm asking them, like, for like, what are they doing right now to help themselves and like where they want to go, it's kind of just like, oh, I want to be more fit. Like, and then that's kind of it.
So just say, tell me more about that.
Okay.
Honestly, like if you say it like that, if you just really focus, I mean, how often in conversations do people actually like say, tell me more about that?
Right.
We don't. We're such a like quick and fast and to the point society that sometimes we need to slow it down and just be genuinely like, tell me about it. What have you done before? Tell me about, what do you mean you want to be more healthy? What does that look like to you?
Okay.
Ask more questions. Just keep asking.
Okay.
For sure. Cool. Anything else, guys? All right, so we're going to be focusing on the business activity tracker. We're going to get that. We're going to have the compound effect. We're going to be checking in daily. You are more than welcome to tag Taylor or myself in posts, or both of us. I don't always see them right away. So if you have a great post, make sure you tag me so I know and I see it. And I think that's all I got. All right, you guys ready to rock the week?
Yep.
We're going to be talking about goals as well coming up. Making sure that we're thinking about and focusing on Success Club. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more next week. You guys set? You good? Everybody looks a little sleepy. It's Monday. I get it. I totally get it. So have a great night. Thank you so much for being on the call. Anything else? No worries. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye-bye.